Hey, I'm Josh, the founder of the accountability group. It is fairly early, almost 4 a.m., hence the sugar-free Red Bull. But that's generally how I get my day started. So let's get going on some of the daily readings, and then I'm going to call my sponsor because that's my usual routine. So the first reading today is the Daily Stoic. And today is the 14th, which is actually a huge day for me personally, because I get to chair because one of my close buddies is, he's getting a year sober, so I'm super excited for him. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. So a year is a big thing, man. I mean, it's a big thing. I mean, a day. Making it a day is a big thing. So pat yourself on the back if you made it a day. I'm just super excited for Sean. He's making it a year. I love it. All right, so the Daily Stoic, July 14th. A little knowledge is dangerous. Every great power is dangerous for the beginner. You must therefore wield them as you are able, but in harmony with nature. Great teachers are usually hardest on their most promising students. When teachers see potential, they want it to be fully realized. But great teachers are also aware that by natural ability and quick comprehension can be quite dangerous to the student if left alone. Early promise can lead to overconfidence and create bad habits. Those who pick things up quickly are notorious for skipping the basic lessons, ignoring the fundamentals. Don't get carried away. Take it slow. Train humility. Wow. Yeah, that's a really good one. Because like in the big book, it's all about how self-knowledge will not stop an alcoholic from that first drink, so we need to be working a program that helps us. Needless to say, I attacked the big book and 12 and 12, first time I did it when I was 20, like a ruthless savage, because at that time I was an undergrad at Stanford, and shortly thereafter I was a grad student. And then I went back there to lecture in the engineering department and was a grad student again. I was one of those people that thought I knew everything, right? Hubris is a good word to describe my overconfidence and self-belief and self-centeredness and thinking that I always knew best. So yeah, I was fortunate that I never had any teachers that were, in my mind, like it says in here, that were the hardest on me because I was the most promising. I did have teachers that wanted me to skip a lot of grades, but my parents never wanted me to do that for socialization purposes. Just stay around my kids my own age and then just go to classes that were in grades higher than mine. So for the most part, I was always in the same grade. I would just be then going for certain math and science classes to higher grades. So like when I was in 5th grade, I get bused to the middle school to take 8th grade classes. Anyway, what all of this circles back to, because sometimes my mind is all over the place, is that we have to be careful with knowledge, especially in recovery. When we think we got it, that is the most dangerous time. It is the time to talk to your sponsor, talk to a fellowship, kind of just work it out. Because even now, even with all this time, like I still don't feel like I know even the tiniest bit about the program. And I've read through the book multiple times and done the 12 and 12 multiple times and done the 12 steps with my sponsors, and now my most recent sponsor multiple times. Like on Saturday for 2 hours, we're gonna work step one, just step one, you know, that my life has become unmanageable. And it's true. It's, if I put any of these things into my system, my life, I mean, it turns into total carnage. So, regardless of how much I think I know, it's also part of the reason why I haven't taken on any sponsees. So like at the end of meetings, I don't know if they do that at any of your meetings, but at our meetings, generally during halftime, when we're passing around the basket, they'll say, is there anyone in the room with a year or more of sobriety who would be willing to sponsor someone? And people all raise their hands, and I just keep my hand down, because personally speaking, I'm more than happy to have a cup of coffee, have food, have ice cream, go on walks, exercise, go to the gym, do some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, some BJJ, you know, do some boxing with any of my, you know, fellow members of the different fellowships. I have no problems doing any of that. But when it comes to walking somebody through the big book, and the 12 steps, you know, the way my grant sponsor taught my sponsor and my sponsor has taught me, and then kind of all three of us talk about it, I just don't know if I'm ready, if I have the knowledge, regardless of how much time I have under my belt, because I'm no longer that kid that thinks he knows everything. I'm that, I guess you want to call it, adult, the one that's realized that, and excuse my language, which is why I don't make any of these videos for kids, but the more that I learn, the more I realize I don't know shit about shit. So this was a really good reading about the importance of humility, and understanding that knowledge in and of itself is not going to keep us sober. And I've learned that many a times, because I used to be licensed in California in a variety of different things regarding mental health and addiction. I ended up losing my license due to a grand mal seizure in my lab, and that hurt, to say the least. But you know, that's just kind of how life goes. The universe was trying to tell me to slow down. So that happened years and years and years ago, and I haven't practiced since, but I have been to school again, started back up, and will probably, hopefully, start figuring out what I'm going to do aside from the accountability group, to help other people like myself. So that's what I've got for you. Knowledge in and of itself is not enough to keep us from the first drink or pick up and use. And it's important for us to stay humble. So today I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be talking to all of you today. I hope that you subscribe and like our videos. And most importantly, that you use the comment section. If you're a newcomer and your screen's crawling, you want to use, you have the desire to use, a craving to use, just share it in the comments, and maybe there might be an old timer who can provide some of their advice, their experience, strength, and hope in what they did, because we kind of help one another. The newcomer explains their story of where they're at, and it reminds me, at least, of where I never want to go back to. And if you do leave comments, I'm ensuring that I'm monitoring it, so you'll at least get feedback from me, from my perspective of what I've done, what I've gone through. So that's the most important thing to me, is creating a community, having comments, and doing things of that nature. Again, I'm Josh, the founder of the accountability group, and I'm also Josh, an addict. So I hope everyone has a great day.